Day has finally come. After much anticipation, HBO's The Last of Us is finally here. This show had a lot of controversy around it, ranging from casting to Neil Druckmann saying the violence will be cut down in comparison to its video game predecessor, to losing the spores. Well, how did that all pan out? Let's talk about it in my review of the first episode of The Last of Us. Quick thoughts before getting into spoilers for those who haven't seen it and plan to. I'll quickly say the show is quite good. By far the best live action adaptation of any video game ever. That's a low bar, but this could change that forever. And let's talk about why and get to spoilers. For those who have seen the show or just don't care about spoilers, the first episode recreates all the events from before the beginning of the game all the way to Joel, Ellie, and Tess escaping the quarantine zone and heading into the destroyed city, which I should say has me fucking stoked for next week because we'll be getting into clicker territory. And I love me some clicker horror. All these events are painstakingly recreated with so much love for the original game. You could just tell watching this that the team really wanted to deliver fans something honest and special. Things have changed, of course, in my opinion, for the better. Some things are subtle, like how Tommy and Joel get separated in the beginning, to why Tess and Joel decide to help Marlene. Here, it actually makes a bit more sense and gives Joel a deeper reason to take on this dangerous task. Now, he wants to make sure Tommy is safe out there with the Fireflies, so he's desperately looking for a truck battery to flee the city and find him. Meanwhile, that pesky Robert sold the truck battery to Marlene instead of guns like in the game. The show is nearly the same as the game, just removing playthrough encounters, but replacing them with more in-depth story moments. For example, remember when Tess shows up to Joel's with a black eye and says she was jumped? Now we see how that actually happened. And instead of long stealth encounters happening in gameplay, Robert is actually found dead after Joel and Tess leave quarantine. Another big change is we are introduced to Ellie much sooner. I was nervous about this at first, but it actually works quite well, actually. This was one of those topics of controversy, as not many people were pumped about the casting of Ellie, and that does include me. It takes a bit to get used to the drastic change in the voice and the physical appearance because Ellie is so iconic. But Bella Ramsey actually holds her own here. She's got the internal character of Ellie pretty much down pat. She isn't perfect, yet I do have faith that when we get to the deeper elements of this story, she will be. Pedro Pascal is of course excellent as Joel, and the biggest surprise to me is Gabriel Luna as Tommy. He's outstanding. I literally thought it was the voice actor from the first game. Like, I did not expect this guy to steal the show. From a filmmaking perspective, much like all HBO projects, the show is a masterpiece. It's beautiful, it's amazingly acted, and the writing is top-notch, especially in this opening scene, which really surprised me. The dialogue here is expertly drafted, which makes sense, because I felt the same way about Chernobyl. The violence is turned down, not to say that it isn't present, and honestly, it's totally fine. It still packs enough punch through its sound and performance that it doesn't matter. This medium is more about story and less about players needing constant excitement. As for the spores missing, I barely noticed. They do go through that first spore section of the game, and as a fan, I was aware, but it does nothing to negatively affect the show. I'm super interested and intrigued to see how they make it work in future episodes without the spores. I do find that limitations actually push writers to be more creative. So I have a lot of faith in this. So the first episode of HBO's The Last of Us is emotional, it is tense, it is faithful, it is exciting, and it's just an outstanding spectacle for this franchise. Honestly, as a huge Last of Us fan, I was giddy the whole time. I don't really have a rating for this series, but I assure you, you should watch the episode. Give the show a chance, whether you're a fan or not. I'm still bursting with excitement. All right, guys, thanks for clicking on this video. If you like this kind of content, maybe like, subscribe, share this with a friend, comment, tell me you don't like it. If you don't, I'm not, whatever, dude. I'm not going to do anything about it.